Ottawa, the city of Ottawa declared a state of emergency during the trucker convoy to spur the provincial and federal governments into action, according to evidence presented at the Emergencies Act Commission. The Commission's mandate is to consider why the federal government invoked the Emergencies Act, which gave it sweeping powers to freeze financial assets, block protests and led to a massive police operation in downtown Ottawa last February. The Act defines a public order emergency as one that arises from threats to the security of Canada and that is so serious as to be a national emergency. Ottawa's city manager Steve Lacos testified on Monday the city initially held off on its own declaration of emergency, but after the second weekend of the protest felt it had no choice. Lacos said the main goal was to get other levels of government to act. Meeting minutes from a call with provincial and federal officials on February 6. Just before Ottawa Mayor Jen Watson declared the state of emergency, made it clear it was about getting the province in particular to act. The expressed intent of this declaration is to put pressure on the Premier to exercise powers to resolve this, read the minutes presented at the Commission. The documents goes on to say that City Council would be looking to have Ontario Premier Doug Ford and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau intervene directly. City of Ottawa is looking for a way out. Lacos said the city wanted the province to use regulations and legislative tools they had to get the truckers out of the core. We were hoping that they would exercise powers through the Ministry of Transportation and other legislation they had. Lacos said it wasn't that the province wasn't involved, but they didn't seem interested in doing anything outside of adding more OPP officers. Article content: the province, clearly through the Solicitor General, felt that this was a law enforcement matter that could be dealt with through existing authorities that law enforcement have. Ottawa Mayor Jen Watson's Chief of Staff, Sir Jarpin, testified in the afternoon on Monday. He said he understood the province to be skipping the meeting, because they felt it was too political. The Mayor pointed out to me that both the Solicitor General and the Premier had told him that they felt that this was a political table, and that it would not be a constructive use of their time. Lacos said the province was willing to talk about more police resources, but didn't want to talk about taking away truckers' insurance or registration through provincial law to help end the protest against COVID vaccine mandates and public health restrictions. He said the Ontario Provincial Police were consistent partners, but other provincial departments had no interest. The other ministries were not participating, and I think that was obviously a direction from their political masters. The province eventually declared a state of emergency on February 11. After the Ambassador Bridge in Windsor, Ontario, was blockaded, the federal government invoked the Emergencies Act on February 14. The Commission also presented minutes and transcripts from meetings that was supposed to include attendance from provincial, federal and municipal politicians. The province didn't attend the meetings. In the minutes, Watson said he was disappointed in the Premier. I can say that I'm disappointed that the province has not come to the table. Premier is telling me anything you want, but then there is silence. Watson, who will testify later this week, said in the transcript that the issue had much broader implications than for just his city. This is a national crisis that has strong overtones in the national capital. While several members of the OPP are expected to testify, no provincial politicians are scheduled to appear. Speaking at an event in Ottawa on Monday morning, Premier Doug Ford told reporters he was not asked to testify at the Commission on the use of the Emergencies Act, but said that he stood shoulder to shoulder with Trudeau in doing so. Ford said that protesters were disrupting the lives of Ottawa citizens living in the downtown core, and were holding up $1 billion in trade every single day by blocking the Ambassador Bridge at the Canada-US border. We were getting phone calls from governors. It's unacceptable, he said. Article content. The Premier added that he believes in free speech, as does the Prime Minister, but the events last winter went too far. If you want to protest, protest. If you want to come down to Queen's Park and do cartwheels. But when you disrupt the lives of the people of Ottawa every single day, disrupt economic flow across our borders, I have zero tolerance for, he said. Ford praised the work of the Ontario Provincial Police, which did an incredible job in ending the occupation.